Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. I am Aksa Khalid from Nurture International School, and today we are going to start our second lesson of week 1 for the month of June via online support system. Our today's lesson is Black Beauty by Anna Sewell. This is basically an autobiographical account of the life of a horse, in which the horse named Black Beauty tells about the experiences that he and his friends or the fellow horses had faced throughout their lives. Okay, he tells us that he spent his youth in a loving home, surrounded by his friends, and he was really cared by his owners, but somehow circumstances changed, and he was passed on from hand to hand, and there he learns that not all humans are so kind, because um, every human has have a different nature. So over there, Black Beauty witnesses love and cruelty, wealth and poverty, friendship and hardship by different owners of him. Why this story is narrated by a horse, as you can see that this story was set in 19th century England, and that was a time period in England that was characterized by the use of horses for transportation. And in those days, not only did horses provide a means of transportation, but very often they were used as labor for a variety of purposes. Okay, so as a brute labor, they were taken for granted, beaten, and abused. So that's why Anna Sewell attacked all these abusive practices in this lesson, that is Black Beauty. Here is a brief introduction of the author Anna Sewell. Anna Sewell was born on March 30, 1820 in Great Yarmouth, Norfolk, England. After a childhood injury, she was confined in her house and was got around mainly by carriage horses. Black Beauty was her only novel, written mostly when she was sick. But unfortunately, she died of hepatitis only after the publishing of this novel. This Black Beauty is only a children's classic, although it was originally written for those who worked with horses. Here are a few difficult words from your text. The first one is colt, which means a young male horse under the age of 4. Next one, this word is pronounced in two ways, that is gig or jig. Gig or jig. Small two-wheeled horse-drawn carriage. Next one is squire. Squire, an English country land owner. Next one is farrier. Farrier, a person whose job involves taking care of a horse's hooves and showing them if they need protection. Next word is, again this word is pronounced in two ways, coax or coax. Coax or coax. When you coax someone, you try to convince him gently with pleasant words and maybe a little flattery. Next word is girth. Girth, a band around a horse's belly that holds the saddle in place. Next one is restive. Restive, being in a tense state. Next word is plucky. Plucky, showing courage. Next one is pine. Pine, have a desire for something or someone who is not present. Next one is chafe. Chafe, to irritate or annoy. Here's a brief summary of this lesson. So let's begin. Black Beauty starts with Beauty's birth. It opens with Beauty's descriptions of his life as a colt. in the home of a kind master named Farmer Gray. So there he opened his eyes, or he was born. He runs and plays in the meadow and receives lectures from his mother, Duchess, about the importance of being kind and gentle. When he is 2 years old, Beauty witnesses a hunting party going after a hare and the tragic death of one of the riders in a fall from his horse. The horse also injured, but he is put down. The experience frightens him. When Beauty turns 4, Farmer Gray trains him to carry riders on his back and pull carriages. After being sent to a neighbor's pasture near the train station to get used to the sounds of the road, Beauty is sold to Squire Gordon at Birtwick Hall. So at first he was born in the house of a farmer Gray, but later he was sold to Squire Gordon. Okay, this is where he gets his name. So once sold to Gordon, he befriends with other horses. At Birtwick, Beauty meets and befriends the other horses in the stable. Merrylegs, this was the name of the horse. Merrylegs, Ginger, and Sir Oliver. These are all the names that were given to the horses. Squire Gordon and his coachman John are kind men who believe in treating horses well, and Beauty's work with them is humane and happy until the Gordons must move to a warmer climate for Mrs. Gordon's health. So what happened? He was born in Gray's house, and later he was sold to mm, Gordon. But over there, the circumstances were not very fortunate for him, as he was again to be sold out to someone else. Why? Because Mrs. Gordon, Gordon's health was not very good, and they had to move to a warmer place. So they had to sell this horse to someone else. Beauty is sold to a number of different homes, from Earlshall Park, a fashionable home where his mistress, Lady Anne, works her horses hard, to a stable that rents out carriages, and finally to a London cab driver named Jerry Barker. So these were the people whom Beauty was sold respectively. Okay, first to a Lady Anne, and from her to a cab driver named Jerry Barker. The first really kind master Beauty has after leaving Birtwick. So Jerry was a bit kind to him. His other masters and stable managers overworked him, neglected his care and hygiene, and even steal from his oats. After Jerry becomes sick and needs to leave the cab business, so again uh, Jerry now he has to uh, sell the horse to someone else because of his health. Beauty gets sold to a corn dealer and then to another cab driver who is lazy and treats his horse unkindly. When Beauty collapses from overwork, he is sold at auction to a kind farmer who nurses him back to health before selling him to the Bloomfields, who were neighbors of the Gardens. Under the care of their groom, who had once been a stable lad at Birtwick, Beauty lives out the remainder of his life or days in a kind and loving home. So this is the life story of the horse Black Beauty. Uh, so the main message that Sewell attempts to portray through Black Beauty is that animals also feel pain just as humans do. Okay, so we also have to take care of their feelings. They also have feelings. Animals have feelings, so we should take care of them. So this story definitely advocates that horses as well as other animals and also people, they ought to be treated kindly, ethically and humanely. Okay, this is all for today's lesson. Try to read this lesson once again on your own, and if you find anything difficult, you can ask me. Hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you.